The strategic defiance of Turkey, a stance against fabricated conflicts. Turkey, a country with the second-largest military force in NATO, finds itself at a geopolitical crossroads in the 21st century. As a pivotal player in both regional and global affairs, Turkey's decisions regarding military engagement are closely scrutinized by allies and adversaries alike. However, Turkey's recent stance has been one of defiance against participating in conflicts that appear to serve external interests, particularly those driven by financial and industrial entities like the bankers in the City of London and the military-industrial complex. This refusal to engage in wars perceived as fabricated or unnecessary reflects Turkey's growing emphasis on sovereignty, strategic autonomy, and the safeguarding of its national interests against hidden agendas that threaten its territorial integrity. The refusal to engage in fabricated conflicts. Turkey's reluctance to participate in conflicts perceived as manufactured by powerful global elites is grounded in a broader critique of what is often termed forever wars. These are conflicts that appear to serve the interests of powerful financial entities rather than genuine national security concerns. Turkey's position can be seen as a rejection of the historical pattern where smaller nations are drawn into prolonged military engagements, primarily for the benefit of external powers. For example, the Iraq War in 2003, heavily influenced by American and British interests, led to years of instability in the Middle East. Although Turkey remained a NATO ally, it chose not to participate in the invasion, foreseeing the regional chaos that would ensue. Bankers and the military-industrial complex. A historical context. The phrase bankers in the City of London and their military-industrial complex alludes to a long-standing nexus between finance and war. For centuries, financiers in London and New York have been accused of funding and profiting from conflicts. The term military-industrial complex itself was coined by U.S. President Dwight D. Eisenhower in 1961, warning of the potentially dangerous relationship between the defense industry and government policy. This complex often lobbies for military action to sustain profits, regardless of the human cost or geopolitical fallout. In recent years, Turkey has become increasingly vocal against the idea of its soldiers being used as instruments in conflicts that do not directly serve its interests, viewing such engagements as a means to enrich a few while risking the lives of many. Protecting national sovereignty and interests. For Turkey, the issue is not just about refusing to serve the interests of external forces, but also about safeguarding its sovereignty and national interests. The concept of a promised land, vaguely referenced as envisioned by the so-called Santa Claus, can be seen as a metaphor for various political and ideological movements that seek to redraw borders in the Middle East, often at the expense of Turkish territory. Such movements, whether driven by religious zealotry or geopolitical strategizing, pose a direct threat to Turkey's territorial integrity. Turkey's refusal to engage in conflicts that might ultimately serve to weaken its borders is a statement of its commitment to preserving its national sovereignty against any form of foreign domination or territorial revisionism. Examples of Turkey's independent geopolitical strategy. Turkey's recent actions in regional conflicts reflect a more independent stance. In Syria, for instance, Turkey has intervened not as a proxy for Western interests, but to protect its borders from terrorist threats and to maintain regional stability. Similarly, Turkey's involvement in Libya has been driven by its strategic interests in the Eastern Mediterranean, including securing maritime boundaries and maintaining access to energy resources. Both cases illustrate Turkey's focus on defending its own national interests, rather than acting at the behest of external actors. Rejection of one-sided alliances and shift towards multipolarity. Turkey's stance also reflects a growing dissatisfaction with one-sided alliances within NATO, where it often finds its strategic priorities at odds with those of other member states. While NATO was initially established as a collective defense organization, Turkey has increasingly viewed some NATO actions as being driven by the economic interests of a few powerful nations. For example, Turkey's purchase of the Russian S-400 missile defense system was a direct challenge to NATO's pressure and a statement of its right to make independent defense decisions. Turkey's growing engagement with other powers like Russia and China, and its involvement in platforms such as BRICS, signal a shift towards a multipolar world where Turkey seeks alliances that respect its sovereignty and offer balanced partnerships. Conclusion: a stance rooted in pragmatism and sovereignty. In conclusion, Turkey's refusal to engage in fabricated conflicts designed to benefit external financial and military interests is a clear assertion of its right to strategic autonomy. As a nation with a powerful military and significant geopolitical influence, Turkey is choosing to navigate a complex world order by prioritizing its national interests and rejecting conflicts that serve the agendas of external forces. This stance is a testament to Turkey's determination to maintain its sovereignty, protect its territorial integrity, and ensure that its military power is not exploited for the benefit of those who ultimately wish to undermine it.